Yeah, just from an offensive standpoint, just and stuff that we talked about heading into the game and just moving forward, just our execution has to be better. I mean, obviously we took care of the basketball. We only had 8 turnovers, but just the execution part in regards to setting solid and legal screens, getting to the offensive glass. Those little things that make big things happen, and then from a defensive standpoint, just boxing out. I've been straightforward about how important rebounding is, and Michigan State got an offensive rebound off their misses 41% of the time, and so they shot 51%. They got 46 points in the paint, and so those are things that aren't good, and for us to be successful, those are things that we have to do well, and we have to do well consistently.
I guess just following up on that, because obviously again rebounding is something that you've emphasized. I saw you specifically in the Michigan State game, we all have to crash the glass, we all have to rebound. How much of that is just really simple, kind of keeping in the back of your mind thing, versus maybe with switches and kind of the rotational things that can go on there, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, it's just, we don't think about breathing and, okay, when we're hungry and going to get something to eat, it shouldn't be something that we have to write down on a things to do list to box out. It should just be instinctive. I don't know how many practices we've had. I know we talk about it every day and on off days. So it's just something that consistently as a group we've got to do a better job of. Do a better job of making contact first. Doing a better job of maybe not leaking out in transition, and securing the ball first before we get off to the offensive end.
Hubert, when you first got here as an assistant, Carolina, Kentucky had sort of a semi-annual home and home where you guys were playing Chapel Hill and Lexington. But this is the first time you guys will have played on a campus site since the 2014-15 season.
Yes.
Is that sort of a series that you would like to see brought back, that home and home arrangement that you had with them?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the last couple of years playing Kansas home and home. You have 2 historic programs, and to be able to play each other on each other's campuses is really special. And you mentioned the last time, 2014, that we played in Lexington, but it was a home and home series. I think at that time, us in Kentucky weren't involved in the Champions Classic, and so it feels like we match up against them every year, whether it's on a neutral site. But obviously playing them there and when they come to Chapel Hill is something special and something that I like and our players like to compete against.
What did you learn about the physical play inside you saw Thursday that you may be able to apply against a guy like Marino on Tuesday night?
Well, it's just it is what it is in regards to winning the battle in the trenches. I've talked to the guys at great length, making a reference in regards to football. You can have the best quarterback, the receivers, the running backs, but all that it's all done in the trenches. It's done on the offensive and defensive line. And so for basketball, from an offensive standpoint, it's taking care of the basketball. It's dominating points in the paint. It's defensively, it's boxing out, it's protecting the paint. Those are all the things. When the ball goes up in the air and it goes on the ground, it can't be 50-50 loose balls. It's got to be all UNC.
Hubert, the other day after the Michigan State game, we talked to Tom Izzo first, and he was talking about Caleb Wilson and how they wanted send extra attention to him, always keeping eyes on him, things like that. Caleb was talking about the adjustments of having that extra defensive attention on him. I guess for him, how have you kind of seen him adjust to, I guess, the extra double teams and the clogged paints and everything like that as well?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has changed throughout each game. The first time that he was doubled was against St. Bonaventure, and then obviously Michigan State was loaded towards him when he was trying to attack the basket. He was still able to get there pretty much as well, and so Caleb adjusting to that and understanding the opportunities for him to score, but also to get two on the ball and be able to facilitate and hit open teammates. And the great thing about Caleb is, yeah, he can score, but he's also a gifted passer and a willing passer as well. So that's good for us.
Do you think he's forcing more shots here in the last couple of games?
No, I don't think so. Caleb is he's a competitor. He wants to win. He wants his team to be successful, and on both ends of the floor, he'll do whatever he needs to do to put us in a position to be successful. That word is nowhere near Caleb in any form or fashion.
Hubert, what impresses you most about Kentucky, this particular Kentucky team?
Yeah, I mean, they can really shoot. I mean, they just, they've got guys that deep range can really shoot the basketball, but these guys can also put the ball on the floor. They can penetrate and get to the basket. Very versatile on the offensive end. They're basketball players. They can pass, they can penetrate, they can shoot. Defensively, they've got the versatility to switch a number of different rotations, and then they have, bigs that can block and alter shots. And so it'll be a challenge for us, but we're excited about the challenge tomorrow night.
I guess going back to the film review, I think it was a little over 8 minutes that you guys went without, with the exception of Caleb. Anybody else?
First half, second half?
In the second half of the Michigan State game,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
And then I think last 4:15 were held scoreless from the field. I know after the game you talked about kind of some of the struggles against Michigan State set defense, maybe not switching sides with ball, but now that you've had time to go over the film, what I guess stood out about that last stretch in the Michigan State game?
Yeah, I would even broaden that to just certain stretches in both halves, and it's not just a Michigan State game. I would say the Radford game, the Navy game. There are stretches in the first half where I felt like we had a 7-point lead and then it went on a 13-0 run. Same thing, you mentioned with 8 minutes ago, a little bit under 8 minutes ago, it was a 3-point game. They went on a 21-8 run to end the game. And so, what is contributing to that? And so that goes back to both ends. It's not just from an offensive standpoint, obviously taking care of the basketball, taking good shots, executing, getting to the offensive glass, but it's also defensively, it's protecting the paint, it's boxing out. And so those are the things that we have to grow and do a better job of, is consistently not having those 3 to 4 minute stretches in either half that either take away a lead that we have or puts us in a hole where we can't get back.
Hey, hang on. Coach has a hard stop at 2:15, so make sure you got to get it in. So, Brendan?
I was just going to say, Hubert's been a couple of weeks since Seth had the injury. I know he's still in the process of recovery and everything. Do you have any sense of a better idea of when you might be able to get it back or get back in practice, or sort of where he is in the recovery?
Yeah, I don't have a definitive, answer, in regards to when he's going to come back, but it's progressing fast and really well. He's shooting, he's dribbling, he's conditioning, and so it's in a really good spot, and I'm looking forward to when he can get back out there on the floor.
Hubert, how do you think that your team's responded to the early season loss, maybe both emotionally and even in practice? And is it kind of an advantage to go into another big game right after this early in the season, kind of shake it off?
Well, I mean, regardless, all of us don't want to lose. And so, one of the things that I always talk to them about is how you react and how you respond. And so we've had a couple good days of practice. We've got one more today in preparation for Kentucky. Either, whether we were playing Kentucky or whomever, you always want to get back out in the court and you want to compete. But how can we learn? Not just from, I think you can learn just as much from a win than you can from a loss. And so for us just to continue to grow and get better on both ends of the floor, more consistent, I think that's the most important thing. And at the end of the day, the results will take care of itself.
Hubert, how do you approach the 2 foul situations in the first half? Is it situational? Is it just
up and down? Up and down. It's on a daily basis. Sometimes I'm like, no, let's keep him in there. Then he gets the 3rd foul, and then that's not a good decision. And sometimes I take him out, and it's a good, no, that's a bad decision. It's really a trust and a feel, situational. for the game that we're in, the score, how the team is playing while somebody is on the bench, all those type of factors are things that are running through my head. But it is important because you don't want Caleb and Henry getting into foul trouble. It's just you want them out there on the floor, and so you're trying to find ways to keep him out there on the floor, but not put you in a situation where he has his third foul headed into the second half.
Time for
Where
two
are you
more.
on the backup five right now? Zayden was the first guy off the bench for every game until Michigan State, and then Brown came off the bench first. What's the dynamic there, or are there other options for the backup five?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to read into who I called off the bench first, regardless if it was Zayden or JB. There's times where Caleb has played the five. One of the things that I think is really good for us is the versatility that we have. We can put a number of different lineups up there, and we have the size and athleticism to be able to do that.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask about Kyan. Obviously, he had some games where maybe he's knocking down the long shot, and that kind of gets him going offensively. Other games, not quite as there. And for him, is it a matter of the looks he's getting, or is it just one of those things where kind of a player just needs to kind of shoot himself in rhythm and kind of figure it out?
Yeah, one of the things that I expect, and I've talked with him about, is not just his shooting. Kyan is so beneficial to us on both ends of the floor, but from an offensive standpoint, he's our guy in terms of a distributor. He's our best in transition, pitching the ball ahead. I love when he gets into the lane, draws two, plays off 2 feet, and is able to find teammates, and those are the things, and get us organized so that we can execute. So those are things. It's not just the shot. And one of the things that I have encouraged them about, and I gave them an example for myself, is when I played, one of the things, the only stat that I ever looked at was I never wanted to shoot over 50% of my shots from three. I just wanted to get a layup, a floater, get to the free throw line. I don't care how good a shooter you are. I think that's very difficult just to stay from 3-point range. And so Kyan has the ability to be able to score in a number of different areas inside the arc. And so just encourage him to use those things in his bag and not just stay out there from 3-point range.
Last one real quick.
Yeah, I'm curious, going back to what Jeremiah said, Izzo had shared after the game, just pulled up a quote, but the idea that it might take to the middle of December to see what some teams really have, just with all the transfers. Obviously, you guys have a lot of new guys. Do you feel like you're still kind of figuring out some things about the team, and if so, what do you still feel like you have to learn?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're always trying to figure out the team, throughout the entire year, but I think for us, maybe even a little bit more, Luka didn't play in the first exhibition games, and so that was a team. Then he was ready to play the first game. That was a team. And then Seth got hurt in the last 5 games. This is a new team. And so I think, yes, trying to figure it out. And so when Seth comes back, another team. And so whether it's December or today, we're just always trying to get better, trying to grow. And I just want each one of these players to play at their best.
Coach, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Hubert. Safe travels.
All right, safe travels. Bring your snow coat.